What's going on, family? This your boy Big Rilla coming to you with another episode of the Don Diallo podcast. This episode is a very special episode because I don't know if you guys don't know, I started my whole entrepreneurship journey as an herbalist. This brother I got with me today has brought me in, you know what I'm saying, and showed me the ropes, you know, as far as these herbs, and it's really been like my true guidance when it comes down to the herbs and what to do, what not to do. So without further ado, I want to introduce y'all to my brother, big brother, OG Oski, the roots man, you know?
Thanks, King.
Yeah, you like that?
Many blessings. Give thanks. Give thanks. Appreciate it.
So, like, I want to say thank you for coming, for sure. Tell us, who is Oski? Who is the roots man?
Well, I guess let me start with the heritage. I'm a sixth generation Jamaican farmer and herbalist. So, I mean, my family is old. They're like kind of age. I'm the baby of six people, six kids. I had 10 years after the last child, like kind of accident. So like my grandparents died at 103 and 99 years old.
That's a long life, bro.
Yeah, right. In 2013.
Damn,
so like when I was in my teens, they were like in their 90s. You know what I'm saying? 80s and 90s. So my father was a Maroon. I don't know if you know about the Maroons. Maroons were like the original freedom fighters and the original Tainos and indigenous peoples that lived in the Caribbean before colonization.
Right.
And they fought and kept parts of land in Jamaica and whatnot. And they have a intricate relationship with the land. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And then on my mother's side, they were Jamaican farmers. My great-great-great-grandfather, somewhere down the line, was a slave owner, right? And his kids, some of his kids were the slaves. Like he would, mate he would breed up his slaves, and his kids would be slaves too. You know what I'm saying? But they took over the farm and killed him, put him in a pot of boiling sugar, and boiled him to death, and took over that farm. And from there,
that's deep right there.
The farm legacy of my mother's side come in. They ended up having a farm in Croftsville, Jamaica, which is Clarendon, Jamaica, and that farm was pretty much the farm of the community, of the town. Like it's where everybody came for and they had a farm and a farm store. The store was called Pin to an Anchor, and basically, my grandfather was a herbalist. People come to him to get healed. He go to the bush and find them things and bring them back. You know, they had acres of mango trees and everything you can think about. They had it: cows, goat, chicken, duck, hen, everything that you can name.
Wow,
like a decent sized farm, not an industrial agricultural sized farm,
but enough to sustain a community.
Yeah, sustain a community.
For sure,
right.
Heard that.
So they didn't end up coming to all their kids left to the U.S. My parents came up to the U.S., immigrated around, I think, like the late 70s. And they left their kids there at first, and then they first came to New York, and then in Chicago. When they got to Chicago, I was born. I was born like 80.
Okay.
Late 79, 80.
Heard that.
So when I was born, about 8 years after that, in the 80s, my grandparents lost the farm. Craziness happened over there. My grandfather took a bullet in the back.
Oh, wow.
They tried to rob the farm and stuff like that, and he ended up, he kept a bullet in his back for the rest of his life, just a point, till living 103 years old.
A bullet in his back, real gangster. Hey.
That's probably one of the only times he went to the doctor. That time and go to the to have the kids.
Shout out to the OG, man.
Straight up.
Much love to the.
So they moved to Miami in the 80s, and then in 88, my family, my parents moved down to Miami by them. Unwittingly moving straight into the heart of the cocaine cowboys era, straight into the heart of it, right?
Okay.
So when we first moved down there, it took a couple of years to get for my dad to get right. So we wasn't in the slums, but we wasn't in the middle of the city. We was Richmond Heights, South Miami Heights, Cutler Ridge, and in a couple of years.
Let me go back. So going through those different transitions from the agriculture to the cocaine cowboy era, what was it like for you as a child?
I wasn't involved in that. I'm giving you the heritage.
The heritage. Okay.
I was born after the family had immigrated to New York and Chicago, and they were already there. So by the time I was born, everybody was in the U.S. by then.
Yeah, okay.
My grandparents and everything. My grandparents moved probably a little bit after I was born. They moved straight to Miami. What happened was when I was born in Chicago, I was born in Chicago. Wait,
okay, man.
Look, I was born in Chicago.
Hey, look, brother. Hey, look. No, I appreciate it. No, look.
There it goes.
Been a long morning, man. So I got you. I'm following.
So what happened was, by my birth date, I was born in Chicago. My parents had me, and about 8 years after that, about 88, they moved to Miami. So I moved to Miami when I was about 8 years old in 88.
Okay.
And from there, we stuff was Gucci for me, man. Like my grandparents were like the cornerstone. Like my grandfather had about a garden in like 15 different people's backyards at least. What? Like everybody that went to their church and community, he had a full scale garden in their backyard.
So like he talked to him like, hey, let me put a garden in your backyard. Or like, what was it?
That's what he did, man. Like he did it for so long. That was his joy. Like that was his life. Okay. Like everybody that knew him, like that was what it was. It was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know if it was an asking thing. It was like everybody that remember said like we had a thick community of Jamaicans down there. So a lot of these folks knew him from the island. A lot of the folks knew the family, and regardless of what, they all linked up over there. Like, so they've been knowing each other, and we had a deep community of Jamaicans down there. You know what I'm saying?
Heard that.
I grew up with mostly Jamaicans, Cubans, Haitians, and Nicaraguans.
Okay, heard
that. That was most of the folks who were like in my direct vicinity. You know what I'm saying? They had like that area was loaded with it.
It's island,
right? It's island out. So, where was I at now?
You talking about just the heritage? Like you moved to Miami.
All right, so we moved to Miami, and my grandfather was my grandparents, grandfather and grandmother, were like the staple of us. I had a bunch of aunties down there, cousins, all type of stuff.
Big family.
Yeah, big family. Ooh, and like he would come to the house and shell peas, and he would have the harvest from like 15 different backyards in the house. And it'd be food and stuff like by the bushel coming out, and he'd share it out to everybody. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. And you know, because why? Because like they don't even push that type of self-reliance anymore. You know, people just grow and just be that. Yeah.
I didn't understand it was something special.
Yeah, nah.
Until I got like I just realized that.
Yeah, that's
you know what I'm saying. When I started messing with doctors, and they were like, "Yo, like what you know all this stuff?" Like they was like, "What the hell? Like how's that?" And I just it started hitting me like, "Damn!" Like wait a minute, nobody. And really, it ain't just, it skips some generation because it ain't just the general population who don't know about it. Like even the family that migrated here, although all my aunties have some type of garden in their backyard, they're all a little bit disconnected. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in the whole family is a little bit disconnected from me, and I just happen to catch it a lot because there's a couple different reasons. My mother was really like, when she had me late. They had me about 40 years old. My dad was about 40, so they had me late. She almost died having me. Like she had came here already and didn't know, there was a bunch of holistic health stuff going on at the time like that. You know, you had to like find that type of stuff. So she came here and just jumped into the Western lifestyle and like, you know what I'm saying, was eating fast food and whatever foolishness. And they would eat, not fast food, but like they would eat lots of meat and they would eat like, you know, because they had access to stuff.
Yeah, more access.
So they would eat out a lot and this and that. So anyways, by the time she was with having me, she was unhealthy, right? And she realized at that point, like, wait a minute. And she was going to the doctors and they was giving her a bunch of stuff just to make her worse, basically. And she was like, wait a minute here. Like, I got to do what I know. So she went back to trying to eat how she knew and use the herbs that she knew and get back and start to get into holistic health and understand what it was that her parents were doing. Yeah, so she's like the one in the family who actually got the understanding of what was going on. The rest of her sisters and all didn't really get it properly because they know that there was, they didn't get it, they didn't study it.
And that's crazy because from that effort, probably that would brought you in. For
right. That's absolutely
crazy.
Because this is oral history. These stuff ain't written down. Like he ain't write no list of what to do. He went to the bush and came back with it like, yo, it's this one, and the names of stuff is like
prophetic.
Yeah, it may be the indigenous name of it, not the scientific name. So we know things as like she had to like put things together, put A and B, and like become a holistic healer herself, to heal herself. And then she, my dad didn't take it serious. He was working his ass off. Like, you know, he was a contractor. and he was building stuff. Like by the time I was born, they was out the slums. Like we were in the suburbs.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So he had made it properly, but he didn't pay attention to his health, and he caught cancer when I was 11. And he passed when I was 14.
Sorry to hear that, bro.
That's the catalyst.
Yeah.
Like that's how I went from being like, okay, my worst problem before that was I had ADD and ADHD. That was my and Tourette syndrome. Tourette syndrome.
That's right.
So I had tics as a child. I had like all these different learning type of disabilities, not learning disabilities, but like disabilities that came with these things.
Yeah.
Like I had to be in a certain type of setting. When I was in public school, I got like kicked out of kindergarten, dude. Like you feel me?
You get out of kindergarten.
I mean, because I wouldn't take naps. Like I remember every time the rest of the class was doing a nap, I was at the board playing and doing my thing.
Do your shit.
And then one day my mom came to pick me up and it was like, you went to shoot me to Montessori school.
Yeah.
Montessori school is essentially like a homeschool environment in a school. I excelled in there. You know what I'm saying? I was there till like second grade. They moved to Miami. And we moved to Miami is when like the Tourette syndrome started presenting itself way a lot more.
Yeah.
I started having more tics, very vocal tics, this and that. And they eventually got me checked out. And not checked out, but like got me checked out to get me some more help. And I checked out for gifted stuff. So they put me in gifted class and all that type of stuff. And I was doing good in school because gifted classes are not geared towards the format that's hard for me to follow.
Right,
They're more like let you know, it's more Montessori type of stuff. Gifted classes are geared towards expanding the mind, letting the kids do kind of what they want to do, and project-based learning, and not just like writing stuff and you know those bubble tests.
Guidelines.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's a different system. So I excelled pretty good. But when my father got sick
what did I do
at
to
11,
you? What did I do to you?
That's like 91. It's the heart of the crack era in Miami. It's like, this is the time when you need a stable type of home.
Yeah.
My father started passing away. I found out he was dying from then. I kind of hit the street running, man, because really there was no escape from it. It was like everywhere.
It was surrounding you.
Yeah, everywhere. Like even if in that Miami at that time, you were eating off of that drug game, unwittingly or not.
Yeah.
Because the entire economy was supported by it. Like there's banks that are just for cleaning drug money.
Yeah.
Like they're all shut down. Like you understand what I'm saying? It's just a weird ass city. Like it don't make no sense.
For sure.
Like I didn't even realize that it wasn't a real city until I left. You know what I'm saying? Like I looked back like, oh my God, that junk ain't even real. It's like, what? I just came here to Atlanta and seen real industry and real business going on. Like, oh my God, like everything wasn't like just a cover for drug money.
Yeah,
that's kind of everything all I seen. Like everything was
Atlanta got a mix.
It's not real business. It's a real city.
For sure. Yeah.
Miami's a vacation spot, and at that time it was just a vacation spot, and the business of it was moving drugs into the entire rest of the United States.
Yeah.
So, luckily for me, I didn't get caught up in the cocaine shit because around the corner from me was a Rasta family. You feel me? And I'm pretty sure my father knew their father from way back when.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When I hit 14 years old, my dad died. Like I became the man of the house. You know, I was the last kid there, so it was only me there, and my parents had 5 kids between my mom and my dad. My mother got raped when she was 15 and had a brother, so he wasn't raising me. But he was so fucked up in the head that his daughter ended up being raised with us. So I had a little sister. So she came to live with us when she was like 4 years old. So she got raised up as, she's like my niece, but she's like 2 years younger than me. I was like an uncle from I was like a year old. She's like a year and a half.
That's our family though. That's
right. So she got raised with my little sister. But anyhow, so that was all who was in the house. So when my pops died, it was me, my little sister, and my mom.
Right.
I became the man of the house. Like I became her father figure.
Yeah,
and unwittingly, I became like the one who it wasn't nobody telling me what to and what not to do.
So like in that, did you have a mindset at that age like this ain't fair, or like or did you kind of like I said, you kind of stepped into it at that young age with your chest out, like let's go, I'm ready for it?
Truthfully, I didn't even know. Like I know one thing. I took what at that time, because here's the thing. I got took under the wing by the Ross family on the corner. The Ross family on the corner. When my pops died, they took me under their wing. So that saved me from from a lot of stuff, because there was a ganja moving family. The pops had a studio, and he had made it that way already. He had produced some tracks from reggae artists in Jamaica back in the days.
Oh wow, okay.
And had already made like his money off the weed already. So he just did like ganja to supplement.
Yeah.
But his son, they had 3 sons. The youngest son was like my road dog, one of my road dogs. The older son, the one over him, became one of the kingpins down south. Like I ain't even gonna say his name. Like anybody who will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, for sure. We talked about it.
Like he took me. I became like his lieutenant because his rise came throughout that time, and that just pretty much kept. Although the weed game had a lot of drama in it as well.
For sure.
It wasn't like clean and blood free and stuff like that, but it wasn't like the coke and crack game.
Yeah, nah, for sure.
You feel me?
Definitely.
It wasn't blocks getting mowed down over weed spots.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? The crack and coke boys, they came to get their weed. They wasn't worried about that wasn't even real money to them. You know what I'm saying? So like, and back then it wasn't no whole bunch of high grade weed. Like we saw the high grade weed come in when like my big brethren got the first M's off of bale weed. Moving in bales from Texas and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And like back up from Jamaica.
Heard that.
So it was like it was heavy. I didn't sell bag weed past like 14, 15. Like after about 15 years old, you hard pressed to get bag weed from me, right? By like 16, it was bows in play.
Bows in play. For
you know what I'm saying?
Heard that. Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you how I got through to my dad passing. I skipped over that.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just listening to you, bro. It's all essential right now, though, man.
It was accidental, man, right? Because we messed with weed, a lot of our clientele was white boys and Chicos. Like we didn't have a ton of we didn't have like a ton of our own color clientele. It was more like the outskirts. So because of that, we got in a lot of the fringe drugs, shrooms, acid.
Yeah, that's how you start messing with psychedelics, basically.
Right,
for sure.
Right. Because it was in there, we serving the white boys and them. They wanted these things, and we had a loot with them.
It's lining up for sure. Yeah.
Eventually, we got a bunch of acid in. Right around when I was 14, acid came in heavy. Big Home was getting by the book, by stacks, by the books. I'm talking about
big motherfucker.
Look like
goddamn a dictionary.
Dictionaries, right?
Fat.
Big stacks of acid.
Yeah.
When my dad died, I started eating that shit, and for some reason, I didn't even know what. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was unwittingly, because now I know all the properties of psychedelics and how they treat trauma and addiction, all these different things. But like my experience, and the doctors and nurses I work with tell me don't talk about this shit, but I'm going to anyways because it's significant. You feel me? The thing is that it's not related to me being off throughout the time. It's related to me being steady. It's related to balancing me. Like I took acid for 2 years almost daily from 14 to 16 years old. I was popping it just all the time. Like that was like my drug of choice, right? The acid and weed. I was smoking weed all the time, of course. I've been smoking weed since I was 11 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it was treating the Tourette syndrome and everything. I would like do better in class if I smoked weed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Like it wasn't. It was treating the Tourette syndrome tics and everything. It slowed me down, helped me to focus, and in ways that the medications couldn't either. Because I went to remember, by the time I hit puberty and I started freaking out.
Yeah, for sure.
I started hitting that street and everything, man. Like, you know, they try to get my medication.
Right, and then you said that you told me that wasn't working for you. Though.
Bro. I started taking it. I would take it here. If they were making have me drop jewel on the desk, and I mean, I've been prescribed Haldol, Clonidine, what was the other one? Depakote, Wellbutrin, Cerazone, all type of crazy ass medications that would have mashed me up.
It had you just brain dead.
Right.
Okay.
I couldn't even do what I wanted to do. Like I couldn't even I wanted to do good in school and I couldn't.
Off the medication, off the shit that y'all get. Yeah.
Right.
Crazy.
So anyways, I bucked on all the medications. I haven't took any of them longer than a week or so. But you know what I'm saying? When I eventually, because I feel like shit, bro. I take them and I'm like, I'm feeling crazy, dude. Like I ain't trying to feel like that.
Yeah.
So I self-medicated myself. And between 14 and 16, I took this acid, and on my 16th birthday, I had like this life-changing acid trip, man. Like I thought I died. and came back. I thought I died every day. I swore I died. Like I told people, tell people I said bye. I was ashamed of going out like that. I was kind of like, damn, why I'm gonna go out like this, yeah, man? Damn, dying on drugs, dog. Jimi Hendrix said that shit. What is this, dog? Everything, bro.
Nigga thought he overdosed. Hey,
I could have sworn. I thought I didn't know what it was.
If you thinking that you overdosed, you're not overdosed.
Right.
that's what we know now. Anybody who did.
Right. I had no idea, man. Yeah. I mean, and we've come from an era like it ain't all like. That's why I'm not. That's why. And you don't get because I don't call myself a shaman. Because a shaman is like someone who leads someone through these spirits. Like I come from an era. I was definitely
gonna get into that, but yeah,
right.
Gotcha. Yeah, go ahead.
I come from an era where nobody helps you, bro.
Yeah,
you start tripping out, niggas start laughing and pointing like, ha 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 ha. It's funny to them. It's a big joke now. You know what I'm saying? Sure. So I had to work it out myself. And from that trip right there, I quit everything. I quit all drugs, even weed.
So you went to a phase of basically fasting from the whole drug altogether.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Okay, yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
I didn't smoke weed. I didn't do anything for like till I was like 17. I picked up cigarettes heavy. I started smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
And then when I was 17, a year after, I said, let me dip my toe back in the water. My homeboy was taking acid again. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and take one, man. I ain't scary no more. You know what I'm saying?
Oscar, you hell, man.
I ain't
Nigga said, I'm gonna just dip my toe with acid.
I ain't died. You know, did you die? I did not.
Yeah, you did. Hey, you didn't die. You right here talking to us.
Right. So I said, let me go ahead and do it. And at that time, I took it, and I had bought a pack of cigarettes. I bought like 2 packets. I used to smoke a lot of cigarettes when I was tripping acid.
Okay.
And I was like, I bought 2 packets of cigarettes. I took the acid, and as soon as it started hitting me, I smoked one square. I was like, you know what? I'm tired of these shits, bro. And I ain't smoke a cigarette again for like years.
Yeah.
I quit that junk right there, and I was like, that's when and from there till I was about 18 years old, I was like completely everything free. Like I wasn't even smoking no weed, no cigarettes. I was just hustling, moving work and
you think that equate like you hustling and doing what you're doing, you think you focused better when you wasn't on nothing?
It wasn't at that point in time. Yeah, just because. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was where I started crutching. My crutch was exercise. I started exercising, and like I started getting like into like a fanatic almost. 'Cause my big homie was doing it too.
Yeah.
Mind you, the same dude that was giving me the packs was like picking up to go to the gym.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And he never ate no meat, never. And it was funny back in the day because he like one of the original, Rasta vegans. Like, folks, the only folks who ate not meat back in the days was Rastas. All this vegan and plant-based shit wasn't even around yet, bro. Like it was normal.
Normal,
to us, our community, because it was Rasta.
Rasta.
But he was the only one in his of the kids who followed his father in like the eating habits and stuff. Yeah. Even his dad, like only ate vegan in the house. Everybody else ate some sort of like little meat here and there, but he was the one who came out, don't touch no meat, but no nothing. And like because I idolized him and looked up to him.
Right.
It's like I took on those when I started getting myself right. Getting myself right was identifying what he did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's how I know like the male role model and figure are so important because like
very for sure.
We watching like the kids are watching.
They
anyhow, he end up pretty much putting me on to a health journey that I kept up. I was feeling real good, riding a bike to the gym every morning, not eating no meat, everything. I full plant-based till about 21 years old. I say 20. So from about 17, 18 to about 20. You know what I'm saying? Got myself right. I was overweight before that. I was super overweight as a kid, like just because I didn't think about eating habits. I ate as much as I wanted to eat.
You just ate.
Yeah, and the when I took the medication for a little bit there, they kind of messed up my brain and had me like overeating and stuff as well. I think it has something to do with it because I had direct weight gain around that time of era when I was like trying out medications. When like 11 years old, that's when my weight shot up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then from 14 to 16, it shot up again too.
And that's when you
my pops died. You know what I'm saying? So
stress,
it was like
stressy.
Right, like a stress type of thing as well. Anyhow, from there, actually, from 14 to 16, it kind of started going down. Sorry, yeah, it was at its height at 14, and my dad started going down. Like I was, like I ain't had enough time to eat. feel me?
Heard that. Yeah, heard that.
We
Yeah,
running the street so hard, like it was eat on the fly, like you know what I'm saying?
You could catch a burger or something.
Yeah,
running. Yeah,
whatever,
sure.
bro. Like you know, so it wasn't healthy, but it was not thinking about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Long story short, get to about 19 years old, and what kept us safe also was because the big homie advanced so quickly. You know what I'm saying, that he was in the millions before I was like in the teens. His little brother, my road dog,
For sure.
he ended up catching a robbery charge and caught 5. Right, so like right around the time when I was like 18, about 18 years old. No, I was about 17. He's a year older than me. About 17, he caught a robbery charge and got took on 5 years. And like we never was like robbers and stuff like that, like, you know what I'm saying? But there were times that dudes would get at competition, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that they weren't, you know, too much food on the plate. But we always got taught, you know, that we don't do that type of stuff. If you rob, no one is eventually people are not gonna want to cop from you, bro. Like you're gonna lose your customers. Yeah. You gotta become a robber now. And that shit don't never last. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta keep everybody gonna do nothing around you no more, bro. So we weren't robbing, especially, and that shit happened right there. And he went down for like, he got the 5-piece. We were like still young, like, bro,
that's a long.
Out of nowhere like that, bro. He a good dude. Like he was just like getting his bands together, man. Had just put up like about 30 bands. You feel me? Had just was about to cop himself a fresh car. Like he was doing it. He was doing good.
That's how you go down to the.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Anyhow, so like about 19 now, the big homie get hit by the feds. You know what I'm saying?
That's the one who put you on. Okay, yeah.
So that right there was like the next world-ending thing, because we never had, what kept us safe a lot is we never had to search for no plug. We never had to be looking for nothing, bro. Like, we was the plug. Like, when it came to that herb shit, like, we didn't have to shop around. We didn't have to, like, everybody knew what it was, dude. And there wasn't no, like, pressure about it like that.
Yeah.
Because we had the numbers so right that you'd be a fool to fuck with us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, you gonna eat. You can't help but eat. You know what I'm saying? You can't help it. But when he got hit, man, and he got like 3 years fed time, and that's when the darkness came, because like then the plugs was gone. Like we had kind of got cocky with it, like, you know what I'm saying, like we don't need no more stuff, like, and then, you know, when that shit happened, it's like that's when like that's when I had to move to the city and start messing with, you know, the different drugs and start trapping for real. Like it was all survival shit that time. Like we did not move fast enough at that time. So, but the thing was, I was always around my Cubans and Nicaraguans, them. They was always like, you feel me? Tight with me. Like that was like my little, that was my crew right there. You know what I'm saying?
Heard that.
And them boys had started growing weed around that time. They had been growing it, and we all grew weed like throughout childhood, bro. Like everybody grew weed.
Nobody grew it. None of them, like just from crib. Yeah.
Right. Like we all grew weed like for sport, for a sport. Like the park where we would chill at would have weed plants going around. So everybody put their shit down there. You know what I'm saying? Put the weed, the seeds would fall out. And like some of us may have a weed plant growing in their backyard just for the fuck of it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because we roster youths. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like we understand the herb as a plant, and like so it isn't like something that and in Miami it's so Caribbean and so full of crack and coke, like no one really cared about weed like that. Yeah. Like police pull you over and be like, "What you got? You got crack, coke, dope in it? You got guns in the car?
You got some? What you got?"
"I got weed, man." Man, get out of here, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't even mess with no weed, bro. Get the fuck out of here. They ain't worry about weed and shit. So weed was really, you know, kind of free with it. But the Chicos, them that I mess with, started going pro and booming houses. These are the dudes that put Miami in competition with California with the high grade weed in the beginning.
Heard that.
When Miami came into the game with Bowman Grow Houses, it was the second leading producer, or South Florida period was second leading producer of indoor ganja to California. Because everything that hit that state do that. If it's illicit underground drug money, it's going because that's all they know down there. Just like the freaking pill mills. When they started doing, all the doctors just went dirty. Like, fuck it, you know what I'm saying?
Fuck it, let go.
All they know is that, bro. It's the culture of like, you know what I'm saying? It comes over everything. And because the city was built on it, there's nothing real there. So everybody's like on the edge of struggling. Everybody on the edge of doing some illegal shit to get right. And when some come through, it's like,
Right. So
You
like,
know what I'm saying?
So like from all that, where did you get like the holistic thing started to like
Well,
push through for you?
that would be post prison, man. Like,
Okay, word. So no.
first I learned how to grow weed.
Yeah. Okay.
Like the Chicos was booming in indoor houses, and they eventually. That's how I escaped the crack game. Because like learning how to grow weed, I was selling crack at that time.
For sure.
I had to set up trap spots and go through it with go through the
Yeah.
we was in Little Haiti,
Yeah, I got
you know what I'm saying,
I got
and we was in up off of our people's was Purple Castle off of 6-1.
Okay.
So that's like down the street from where all the John Doe shit was going on.
Heard that. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then we ended up posted up over by 7, 6, and 4th Street Northeast in Little Haiti.
Okay.
And that's where we had a little trap over there. And like we went at it with the Zoes, and we ended up coming back down with them. And you know, like anyhow, it was a lot of bullshit that I ain't want to be around. And that's my mom had moved up to here already.
Oh, so she left you down here.
She left down here. She moved up here like about 99. I was like 19 on that same time. Big homie got locked up.
Yeah.
She moved.
So all right. So like your psyche in that, because I can imagine what that feels like. You know what I'm saying? Well, I can't imagine what that feels like to lose your kind of like that was your figure, and then from the prison, and now your mom just kind of dipped out. Did you?
She had to go.
I mean, honestly, okay. So yeah,
shit was getting real.
So what was your mind? Yeah, your mind was just like you were glad that she left.
I wanted to come up here with her, but I didn't understand this yet. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All I knew was down. I had lived in it for so long, so deep that when I came up here, this city just confused me, bro. It was like all this black entrepreneurs. I was like, I can't even hang with it. Like I ain't feel like what am I gonna do up here? Get in the streets and get killed by one of the land niggas? Like that's all it is. I couldn't see myself because I didn't know the other lanes yet.
Right.
So I went straight back down to what I know, who I know, and you know.
And fast forward, you one of them guys. We're gonna just put that up in there. You one of them guys. I'm gonna give you your flowers.
Been a long road.
Yeah, for sure.
But while I was trapping and shit like that, I was learning how to grow weed. The Chicos them was teaching me how to grow weed. I have my youngers now. Like the next generation after me, they learned from my mistakes. They got it right. Like those are the ones who came and took me back after prison. Like, cause all of us got beat up and tore down. But the ones who I brought up, like that's the ones who like are out there, you know, breeding and collecting the land races and doing genetics, and like they advanced into the knowledge of cannabis past just making money off it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We was booming grow houses and using newts, and we didn't know what type of organic. We was trying to get the biggest crop as possible and ship it out.
Shit,
you know what I'm saying?
Get the bread from it, yeah.
Period. And so I learned how to grow weed, and by the time I was about 21 or so, I stopped serving dope and shit because I was growing enough weed to sell weed.
Right.
I got an apartment, growing weed in the back, selling it right out the front door. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and I'd be like around folks back then. They're still fresh and new. Like everybody ain't have high grade ass weed like that. Like it isn't. You know what I'm saying? It's still overpriced and you know what I'm saying? It's getting more popular.
I heard that.
But it's like, you know, it's still like it's very lucrative.
Yeah,
I could grow in my closet and make money off of that shit to survive. Along with other, you know,